another project on the bike. It's still winter, back home from Utah, and today we're gonna put on some lights. I got these Kuryakin lights. These are the focus as well. That's the ones that we're gonna put on. So we're gonna put these two lights on. That's the little wiring kit you get with it. Now what I need to do, I've already taken the bags off and need to clean this up. It's been covered in the garage here next to my wife's bike, and we'll clean this up. And then I think I'm gonna even have to, since it's only 45 degrees out, and I want to make sure that 3M tape that's on the back of these, oh, let's see, yeah, we got the 3M tape on the back. I want to make sure that this sticks real well when I put it on the bike, and it goes in like that. Yeah, get under there, wire. There we go. So it'll go in like that eventually. Well, these lights come with a protective sleeve on them, and which is kind of nice, but it's tough to get this off. So I'm going to just use a little X-Acto just to get it started. And as it's been mentioned in other videos, Kuryakin, you don't need to waste so much money on wiring. This is way too long. I've been waiting to put this on my bike. Actually been waiting for warmer weather. Be nicer if it was in the 50s. But as you can see, let's see if I can get that in there. Look at how long this is. Doesn't need to be that long. Anyways, that's what we go on. Right there. This bike needs a real good cleaning. We'll do that when the weather changes, but for now, the next thing is I'm going to take off this light assembly. Under here is where we have to go and get at these 3 bolts. And once I remove those, I'll be able to pull it out a little bit and clip off the little tie straps. Okay, there are 3 bolts holding this assembly on, and they weren't very tight. Only a couple Newton meters, I think. So now I should be able to pull this off, position it. I'm going to get me a towel. Okay, don't want to scratch anything up here. So I'm going to tape this around temporarily. Okay, got that done. Now we're going to lift this off, pull it out a little bit. Turn it around. It's pretty dirty under there. Okay, let's see if I can show that now. The wire bundle only comes out so far because they're all tied in real tight. Gotta get this little bugger off. Oh, there's 2 of them in here. 3 total. There we go. Boy, that's tough. So inside here, let's see if you can see that. Yeah. So right down here is like a place where you can hook all your tie straps to. So when you do add all this extra wiring that Kuryakin gave you, you can kind of cinch it all back in here and make it all in this pocket, because it's got to be all in here. So that'll be the tough part. Otherwise, this is a pretty simple install. And then we'll have some work to do under the fender as well. So right now I'm going to do a little cleanup. Since I have the light off, I'm going to take a moment here and just throw a little bit of polish in this. That's a little bit too much area in here under the light. Not where the 3M tape's going to go. But this is an area that doesn't get polished too much under normal use. So we'll just put a little bit of that in here just to seal it up nice. I'm using Meguiar's Mirror Glaze 7. Okay, I must say that looks a little bit better than when I took it off originally. So I only put the wax on the area right where the light's going to be reattached. So it looks pretty good. So, and I cleaned off the light assembly here. So my next project is to put the wires on. Let's see what happens. Okay, now in this package we got some ties, got an alcohol thing, got a few ties. I got several of them, more than I need. I came with these little things that I noticed some people are using, some people are not using. I'm gonna see if I need them or not, and then more wire to tuck away. Okay, this is pretty cool, which is nice on the bike harness. It's got a little tag here, it's all crumpled up. And it says rear and right hand turn, and then this one says rear and left hand turn. Okay, I just wanted to show you these connectors. They're pretty easy to use. To make it work, all you do is push your fingernail down right here and it slides right out. So they come apart pretty easy. And as I mentioned before, one is a left-hand wire, one's a right-hand wire, and it's kind of obvious which is left-hand and which is right-hand, so shouldn't get lost there. Okay, on this black one, it's a little bit different. There's a little lever that you have to pull up with your fingernail to get off from here. So that one is just a little bit different than all the white ones. Okay, I've got them taped in place now, so that looks pretty good. Now I'll just run these wires that are hanging down here, and I'll run these up through the hole. See all this extra wire? Why do we have so much wire? It only needs to go to here. Anyways, yeah, that's probably a good 10 inches too much. That's okay. We'll make it work. I've got it all wired up now. Put the little harness on there. There is only one way that it can go together. I'll put a towel back on there again to make sure that I don't scratch up my fender. And let's turn it on and see what happens. Let's go. Oh, you know what? I need my key fob. Okay, I have my key fob. Let's see what happens. We should be all charged up. I've had it on the trickle charger for quite some time. Let's see, we've got lights here now. That's pretty good. Those are pretty bright. Left and right. That one's on. That's good. Those are cool. Alright, so I didn't mess up the right and left hand. Just double check. Since I unplugged them, let's make sure I got them plugged back in right. Yep, okay, those are all good. Okay, we should see a little bit of light here and light here. Well, that all looks good. So I have to go get some dielectric grease I want to put that on all of these connectors here and make sure that I have no issues in the future. I don't want to tear this apart again. Okay, I got some dielectric grease, and what we'll do now is we'll go and put a little bit on each one of these. Okay, now one thing that I did notice that I think that this vehicle should have is, I think, right down in this area where all the wires come through. If you remember how dirty this was back in here and how dirty it was under this area here, this should have a boot or a grommet in here with these wires coming through to kind of seal it better. But the protection I was taking, and I noticed on one of the videos that I watched, there's a couple out there to put these Kuriakin lights on, and to be honest with you, they're produced better than this. These connectors here that go to the Kuriakin light, one of them had them inside under the fender here, and I thought that I'm gonna do something different. Since I put the dielectric on here, that's one step. The other thing is I'm going to bundle all of these connectors all in here and tie strap them in here, and then all my extra wiring, that's all of this stuff here, this extra foot or so, I'm going to bundle up like one of the other guys did under the fender. But I'm not going to have this connector under the fender. That one's going to stay here the best I can, and it's better than, I think, being splashed on by the tire. The water's at least got to come through this hole to get at it, so I don't know. Okay, I got a tie strap on there and cinched it off. I just used one, and they give you a lot of them. They're about this long, and I found to get all of those wires in place was a little tough. So I got one of my own. It's just a little bit longer, just a few inches longer, and that just helped me get that together. Just want to point that out. Well, it's a couple days later, and finally got around to getting back and finishing up this project. We left it with the lights being taped on, but now we have a heater blowing on it. So hopefully this will end up warming up the back of the bike here a little bit. Now, according to instructions, you take your thumbnail and kind of rub into here to activate the tape. So I'm going to make sure that that's going to be sticky. Okay, sometimes I'll use this to get it started. It's kind of hard to start sometimes. Get that all going. Now comes the fun part. You got a one-shot deal. Alright. That helped a little bit. These fit pretty nice on. Get a close-up, and if you can see the gap that's in there to the chrome strip, yeah, you can see the gap in there, but that's right up against it, so that's the fit you get. That's the best I could get, but it really doesn't look bad at all. In fact, it looks pretty nice with the red bike. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to get all of these wires nice and neat. This connection right here, that's for my left-hand turn signal. I'm going to run it across and probably on top, right up like that. And then I'm going to bundle all of these wires over onto this side here next to the antenna. Okay, so that's the finished look. We got lots of tie straps kind of hooked onto this here all the way up, and then I bundled it to the main wire harness. So I think the project is done. Okay, the bags are on, and I must say, on this burgundy bike, those lights look really nice in there, and they're going to help. Well, that's it. Got the lights on, and the wires are all neatened up under the fender. So this project is done. I have to think about what's next to do. I think I need to go for a ride, but unfortunately, I still have this out here. One good rain, which I think we're supposed to get soon to get the salt off the roads, and a little temperature climbing up into maybe 45, and I'll be on the road and testing out those lights for real. So until next time.